Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I am back in my office, and today we are going to talk about your gut microbiome to ultimately understand the basics of it and why it's important for you to know about. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Marissa and I am a pharmacist and health coach, and teaching on the topic of gut health and all things relating to it is something that I am super passionate about. So if you are interested in this topic, then definitely subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any future videos that I post here on YouTube. But without further ado, let's start talking about your gut microbiome. So first off, what is the microbiome and why is it important for you to know about? So the definition of the microbiome is that it is the collection of all microbes such as bacteria, fungi, viruses, and their genes that naturally live on our bodies and inside of us. So we have microbes on our skin, in our mouth, in our gut, among other places. And when we say gut microbiome, we are specifically referring to the microbes within our gut versus the microbes that are present in other places. Now, other terms you may have heard to describe the gut microbiome include gut microbiota and gut flora. Now, while these terms are commonly used interchangeably, there are some differences in how they are biologically defined. The gut microbiota refers to specific microbes that are found within that environment, and the gut microbiome refers to all the microbes and their genes in that environment. And the term gut flora is actually no longer preferred when addressing these microorganisms. Instead, the preferred term is microbiota. Ultimately, what you should take away with from all of that is that they are all describing the microorganisms present within your gut. So that answers the question of what it is. So now let's talk about why it's important for you to know about it. These microbes that are present within you can contribute to your health and wellness in several ways. And some of the functions of your gut microbiome include breaking down food components like fiber that we have trouble digesting ourselves. They synthesize or create vitamins such as certain B vitamins and vitamin K. They can help to create certain neurotransmitters like serotonin, which influences both your mood and gastrointestinal activity. They produce what's called short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which are super important in helping support our immune system. They help prevent overcolonization of potential pathogenic bacteria, so bad bacteria like salmonella, by crowding them out so that we have more good versus bad bacteria present. They also help us maintain the correct pH within our gut, which is just how acidic or basic the environment is, and they can even participate in drug metabolism. So ultimately, your gut microbiome contributes to your immune health, your digestive health, your mental health. If you've ever heard of the gut-brain axis, then that comes into play here. And it also plays a role in your metabolism. There is also research currently being done to see what other organ systems your microbiome can potentially affect. So this is a super important area of your body that I believe everybody should know about. Now let's talk about what determines the health of your gut microbiome. According to the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, a person's core microbiome is formed in the first few years of life, but can change over time in response to different factors, including diet, so what you eat and drink, medications that you may take, which can play a huge role, and a variety of environmental exposures. Now, to elaborate on this, some other factors that can affect the health of your gut microbiome is your age, how many hours you're sleeping at night, how often you're exercising, how well you're able to manage chronic stress, whether or not you smoke, where you live, so are you in a rural area versus an urban area? And another factor that's super interesting is how you were born. So were you born vaginally or by a C-section? And also whether or not you were breastfed as a child. Okay, so all these factors come together to help determine the health and diversity of your gut microbiome. Now, how do you know if your gut microbiome is off balance? A good way to think about this and also understand it is if you remember what I mentioned earlier in this video about how your gut microbiome affects other areas of your body. So I mentioned that a healthy gut microbiome can support your digestive system, your immune system, your metabolism, and your mental health. So ask yourself if you're experiencing symptoms such as gas, bloating, reflux, constipation, and diarrhea. Are you getting sick often? This is important because 60 to 70% of your immune cells are located within your gut. Are you having trouble maintaining a healthy body weight? Are you feeling depressed and anxious, having mood swings, or even feeling irritable? If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, then it would be a really good idea for you to, one, go and see your doctor and get those symptoms checked out, just because many conditions can cause these symptoms, but it is also a good idea to start thinking of different ways that you can start supporting your gut microbiome a little more. And we're going to start talking about ways that you can do that right now. Okay, so number one is your diet. So while everybody is different and may follow a slightly different way of eating, there are a couple of general food principles to follow that can be really, really helpful. So we want to regularly consume fiber-rich foods and resistant starches. These foods function as what is called prebiotics, whose function is to feed and nourish the good bacteria within your gut. So it's actually really interesting on how this works. When we eat fiber, we are not able to digest it. So if we can't digest it, then it is going to keep moving along the digestive tract. Once it reaches your colon, which is where the majority of your gut flora is located, by the way, the bacteria present will digest it for us, and that process is known as fermentation. The result of that is it will promote the growth and activity of the good bacteria there, and also produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, like I mentioned earlier. Some examples of these types of foods include fruits like bananas and apples, vegetables like asparagus and leeks, whole grains, beans, nuts, seeds, garlic, onions, potatoes with the skin on, and brown rice. The next group of foods that you want to regularly consume are probiotics. You can obtain these through fermented foods where the probiotics are naturally present, or in foods where probiotics are added into them. These are important because they increase the levels of good bacteria, they increase the levels of those short-chain fatty acids, and they can also help restore the gut flora after a course of antibiotics. Some examples of these types of foods include yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kombucha. Now, just as important as adding in those two types of foods, there are some that you should avoid, and those are artificial sweeteners and excessive amounts of sugar. Too much sugar can feed the bad bacteria and yeast and allow them to flourish. If they flourish and grow, then at some point they can crowd out the good bacteria, and that can lead to various health complications down the road. Additionally, they can harm the intestinal wall and promote inflammation, which isn't good if you are trying to improve your gut health or just overall health in general. Now, before moving on to other ways that you can support your gut microbiome, I do want to mention probiotic and prebiotic supplements. These are very, very popular and also can be a very convenient way of consuming healthy probiotics and prebiotics. They're usually available in either pill or powder form and can be either refrigerated or non-refrigerated. Now, that being said, I do want to say that if you are considering taking these as oral supplements, then be sure to check with your doctor, your pharmacist, or your child's pediatrician if you want to give them to your child prior to starting them, especially if you have any medical conditions, have any allergies, or take any medications, just to make sure that the supplement won't interact with anything that you're currently taking or managing. I say that because you may need to take the supplement at a different time of day from your other medications. There might be concerns with you taking the probiotic itself, and or there might be other ingredients present within the supplement other than the good bacteria or the prebiotic fiber that could potentially cause you some issues. Another thing to remember is that the probiotic and prebiotics that are in pill or powder form and are also categorized as dietary supplements do not require FDA approval before they are marketed. Additionally, remember it is a supplement, which means that it is not a drug and is not intended to treat, prevent, cure, diagnose, or mitigate any disease. It is there to supplement our diet and support our overall health and wellness, okay? Additionally, they can be pretty pricey, so I would recommend trying to obtain your probiotics and prebiotics from food sources first, and then depending on who you are and what's going on, you can speak to your doctor or pharmacist about whether or not you can implement a pill or powder supplement. If you are going to take an oral probiotic supplement, then there are a couple of things that you should know. The amount of probiotics present is indicated by what's referred to as colony-forming units, or CFUs. And there isn't really great guidance as to how many CFUs that you should be taking when you're taking a probiotic supplement. As you start looking at different brands of probiotics, you'll see CFUs that range anywhere from like 1 billion to like 100 billion. Just know that the higher CFU counts doesn't necessarily improve the product's health effects. That's why it's important to talk to your doctor, your pharmacist, or your child's pediatrician to help you figure out which product and how many CFUs to take and which one is appropriate for your age. Besides looking at the CFUs, the probiotics should ideally contain multiple strains such as lactobacillus, bacillus, streptococcus, bifidobacterium, and or Saccharomyces boulardii. The reason for this is because your gut microbiome is, or at least should be, diverse. Also, when you're looking at the ingredient list on the package, you may notice that it has inulin or rice bran, and these are prebiotic fibers added to support the probiotics that are present. And lastly, I would choose to purchase one that is made from a company that is transparent about their products, and also look for brands that have strains that support your specific needs. Okay, so now moving on to the second way to support your gut microbiome is to find healthy ways to manage your stress. Chronic stress is really, really hard on your gut, so finding ways that help you relax and de-stress is crucial for supporting your gut health and overall health in general. A couple of examples of ways that you can do this is like exercising, meditating, finding some sort of creative outlet like cooking or drawing or painting or something like that. And then even using high quality essential oils can be really helpful for supporting you emotionally. The next way to support your gut microbiome is by exercising regularly. So the best advice that I can give here is just to find exercises that you genuinely enjoy, whether that's walking, dancing, Pilates, swimming, running, yoga, whatever. Ultimately, you just want to find ways of moving that you will genuinely enjoy, and that will increase the likelihood of you exercising regularly. And the last way to support your gut microbiome that I'm going to mention in today's video is to get a good night's sleep. 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night is typically what's recommended, but that range may be different for each person. Alrighty, you guys, so those are the basics of your gut microbiome. We talked about what it is, why it's important for you to know about it, different factors that affect it, how you may know if your gut microbiome is off balance, and some different ways that you can support it. I hope that you enjoyed today's video and learned a lot. If you did, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you would like, you can also follow me on Instagram. I'm there every day sharing lots of tips and tricks on how to improve your gut health. So I will leave the link for that down below. But otherwise, that's all I have for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!